What's going on, everybody? It's Kenneth.
And I'm Liddell.
And we are
The Grams.
And this is the introduction to our marriage podcast, The Grams, The Journey, a newlywed's guide to learning through love. We are super excited to share with you all today for our first episode of this marriage podcast. It's been a long time coming. We've been feeding on it, really trying to get some stuff ready for you all as we go throughout this journey. And my wife can attest to this. We kind of put it off for a while simply for that reason. Now, the idea came about through my wife, and she'll be able to tell you all, how the idea came about, the reason why it came about. But we were actually in the store when that idea came about. So if you can share with them just what was going on in your mind when you came up with this.
Yeah, I just really wanted to have something to catalog our first year as newlyweds. Sometimes you get into an experience and time passes and you forget those humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot to kind of take in and to learn from.
Right.
And I wanted to have something that we can look back on and share with everyone else as we're growing and learning and allowing people to grow with us through some of our trials, our tribulations, our victories and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's cool that, she said, through our growing period, because we don't want you guys to think that we're just sharing stuff with you for your relationships, but in this process, we're growing too.
Absolutely.
We're all on this journey together. So we don't want you guys to think that we know more than you, because we've only been in this thing we're in our second year. So we're qualified to talk to you about things that happen within 2 years. We're not gonna talk to you as if we've been in this thing for 20 and 30 years, of course. But we're not going to talk to you in that manner. We're going to talk to you from the place that we are. And so we don't want you guys to think that you can't come on here and you can't, be vulnerable and, open yourself up, because that's what we want.
Absolutely. So talking about what to expect out of this podcast, we're going to be talking about, of course, how we met.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about our long-distance relationship. We're going to talk about our mentors. We're going to talk about the 5 love languages. We're going to just kind of give a little bit about our experience and hope that you can get something from it.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. So we'll go ahead and just jump right in. We actually met at the university that I was a graduate student at, and my wife was actually working there as a community director. Now, when she first saw me, and she can talk more about that, when you first saw me, I was working at Meyer, right?
Yeah, you were. And this was years, because I think I was at Wright State for about 3 years.
So it's like 2011, right?
Yeah. So I had seen you on campus, being a black woman on a PWI,
of course.
you know all the other black people. You see the black people,
course.
You catalog like, okay, here's another one. And so I would see him on campus all the time, and I would always be like, oh, he's so cute. But there was a no fraternization policy between staff and students. And so even though he was fine, I was just like, nope. Off limits.
That was a big thing at Wright State.
Yeah, it was a huge thing. And so time went on, and I would just, be cordial. We would see each other, say what's up, or give a hug.
I don't like that word,
cordial. And then it was, I want to say 2014.
Right.
I was working in the apartments, and we had to do evictions. And I actually had a list of evictions that I needed to do that day. And I was calling people and saying, hey, I'll be at your apartment. Please have everything out. Yeah. And I called his apartment, and I left a message on the voicemail.
Yeah.
And he called me back. And at this time, I really didn't even know who he was, because we had never really exchanged numbers or anything. So he called me and asked if he could talk to me, because he was not at all in the know that he was about to be evicted.
Listen, and I will say that, because actually I wasn't the one about to be. Was I about to be evicted?
No, I was going to get there.
Okay,
I was going to get there. Can I tell my story?
Okay, all right.
Thank
all
you.
Right, go ahead, go tell your story. Tell your story.
But he had no idea, so he asked if he could come down to the office and talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm heading back down there. I'll meet you outside. And so I'm driving down to the office, and when I pull up, I see him, and I'm like, oh, that's him. I'm like, okay, get it together, girl, get it together. So,
Fathom. Just kidding.
and so I get out the car and, I let him in and, I'm talking and, you can tell he's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking him up on my database and I can't find his name. And I asked, well, what room are you currently staying in? And he told me, and I pulled up the room and I saw that I was actually looking for someone else. Living in this space.
Yeah.
And he was,
yeah.
he was like, oh no, I'll give him a call, get him down here. And I'm like, oh, thank you, So I'm at the computer and I'm typing, doing my thing, trying to stay focused. And one of my RAs came in and evidently they knew each other. And, they were talking and just catching up. And I remember her saying, she had senioritis real bad.
Yeah.
And she was saying, I'm just so ready.
She wanted to graduate.
Right, to graduate. And I can't wait to be done. And my back is towards them, and I'm just listening. Right? I was. Y'all know I was. And so I remember him saying, that's the greatest feeling when you walk across that stage and you hear them call your name and you get that degree.
Ding.
And she said, you graduated? And he said, yeah, I'm a grad student.
Ding.
And literally... stopped everything. It was like slow motion. You could hear the music and the violins. And I turned around and I was like, you're a grad student? And he was like, yeah. And from that moment on, I just knew. It was a done deal for me.
It was purpose.
It was right. This is it. Me and you, we're together.
Yep. And that's exactly how it happened. And we had been talking and Actually, you got to tell them about the first date.
Which first date?
Well, yeah, you're right. But there was a real date, and then there was a date where it wasn't a date.
Yes, so. But our real official date was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
He asked what my favorite restaurant was.
Right.
And in Dayton, Ohio, if you have not been to McCormick and Schmidt, please make sure that you make your way there immediately.
Way there. Yes.
They have the most amazing steaks and seafood. But I told him that was my favorite restaurant, and he took me there and picked me up. And we dressed up, and we had an amazing dinner, and then went back. And that night we watched Fireproof, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We watched the movie Fireproof. And so it was an amazing night.
Yeah, that was a really, really good night. And just being honest, I won't go. You think I should go into detail about what happened as far as you thinking may not be able to? No, I won't go into that. So I will. There was a point in time where as we were going, of course, my wife was my girlfriend at the time. She was kind of having some things about, she was just like, oh, can you pay for it? You know what I'm saying? Because it was some stuff. Listen, I was a grad student,
they brought the check, and he got nervous.
I got real nervous, and I know that was the spirit of God, because when I looked at my account, it was enough to pay for that meal. And listen.
And I just want to give you guys this cue.
Yeah.
If you take a woman out, man out, take anyone out, and you say, order whatever you want on the menu.
And that's exactly what I told
That's exactly what he said. Now, mind you, being the woman that I am, of course I'm not going to hit his pockets like that. But if, in fact, you're going to say, order whatever you want on the menu, you need to make sure that you've seen the menu
I need to have
and
some
priced
boundaries
out.
In which
No, you don't need boundaries. You need to know that if I order, in fact, the most expensive thing on the menu, that you are ready to make that sacrifice.
Right. Then I will be able to pay for it. But thank God I did.
Yeah, kind of my shout out.
Yeah, because I feel like if I didn't, then that would have been the end of it all. But thank God that it happened. But then after that, I think that's when I really started taking things serious. No. As a matter of fact, I think we had stopped talking for a little bit again.
There was
stopped talking a little bit again, and then, there was, I think it was about probably a few weeks or so, and I ended up calling Liddell, because for all my men out there, if you see a good woman and you know that she's right there, don't get out your pride and get what's been presented to you. So that's all I'll say on that.
Mm-hmm. So that's how we met. And there's so much more to this story that you guys have to tune in to.
You have to tune in.
To hear about. But one of the things that we want to share is I thought that, I would meet my husband, somewhere in church or, out in, at the job.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I will always remember from my relationship with Honey is, sometimes everything that you're looking for is right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's what I had to realize too. That's why I made that phone call because, when you know that this is a good woman, you know what I'm saying, and she's doing what she's supposed to do and vice versa. If you're a woman and you see a good man doing what he's supposed to do, take advantage. You know what I'm saying? Don't get in your pride. You know what I'm saying? If you know that this is gonna be a future with someone, consider. Definitely consider, and don't be so orthodox and, thinking that you got to meet a person in a certain place. No. You know what I'm saying? I know someone who met, their husband in prison. And I'm not saying that that's everybody's situation, but don't, be unorthodox about it. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So, we hope that you have heard something on this podcast that have encouraged you or made you laugh or just gave you a little bit of insight on the Grams.
Yeah.
If you want to connect with us, tell them about our social media.
Yeah. Actually, you can go to the Grams Journey. Go to our page, the Grams Journey. You can follow us there. We will post questions, every now and then just to engage everyone within the group. And, at the end of the day, our focus for our Facebook page is to create a community. It's almost like, I don't know if you all seen Red Table Talks. There's a group for Red Table Talks. And so we're trying to take that perspective in terms of, this podcast because we know the value that, we have and we just want to help add value to you. And we know that having a strong community is part of it.
That's right. Yeah, we know that our relationship is successful because of not just the love that we have, but the love of our support system.
Yeah.
And building that support system and that community, like he said, is so pivotal in a healthy, loving relationship. And so we invite you to build community with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But before we get out of here, we do want to share a quick nugget with you all. And I think my wife just kind of went into it a little bit. And the nugget that we have for y'all is open your eyes to what is in front of you, right? Open your eyes to what's in front of you. Sometimes, the thing that's for you is right there, and we're trying to look elsewhere because we see someone else has something or someone and we want to be like them. Like, no, what you have is right there in front of you. It's like I tell people, what you have is on the inside of you. But for this particular Marriage Podcast episode, we want to let y'all know that what you have is in front of you, so open your eyes to it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, baby. I love you.
I love you, too. So we are grateful that you guys were able to tune in with us on this first episode. Like I said, we have more for you all on future episodes, but we thank you all. Like I said, this is something you have to listen to over and over again, I would say, and I think my wife would agree. We just want to give you guys a little foundation of, just our relationship. So give you something to, just kind of expect as we go throughout these podcast episodes. But we are excited and we look forward to talking with you guys on future episodes. Did you have any last words?
No.
All right. So, again, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode of The Grams. We love y'all.